All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Um, I was just coming to make a video tonight because I had a really rough mental health week this week. So I was hoping if I kind of got on camera, since I started making videos now, it's kind of something that's helpful for me to get out some of my extra energy that I have. So I was writing and decided stop and take a break to make a video to kind of explain a little bit about high functioning anxiety, which I know a lot of people probably suffer from. I think the statistic for it is like, I think 40 million adults in America suffer from high functioning anxiety. And I wanted to title the video, I have high functioning anxiety, but I'm not crazy. So just kind of want to educate people a little bit because sometimes when I have my episodes where my anxiety is a little bit worse than usual, I usually hear people tell me I'm acting crazy, and it kind of frustrates me a little bit because they don't understand. So when someone doesn't understand, you don't belittle them, you educate them. So I kind of just wanted to come to you guys and talk to you guys about high functioning anxiety. So it's not like it is like regular anxiety, but you probably would never know that a person is suffering from it because they do so well in life. So they probably are doing well at work, they're doing well in school. You always see them put together very well. Their appearance, they're well groomed. They usually seem to be on top of their game, but you never know what's going on inside of a person's head, which is one of the reasons why it's so important to be kind to everyone, because you don't know, what's going on in anybody's life. Um, so again, my point was to just educate people on high functioning anxiety. That way it'll help you understand me a little bit better. And who knows, it could help you understand your neighbor, your coworker, or whoever else a little bit better. So some of the symptoms of high functioning anxiety, and I'm gonna get it directly um, from a source. That way it can be really clear. Um, so there's positive characteristics of it, and then there's negative characteristics of it. So some of the positive characteristics of having high functioning anxiety are people are outgoing, they're happy, tell jokes, smile, laugh. As you guys know, I'm a goofball. Those of you who know me personally, so being my outgoing self is not going to change. That's still part of my anxiety. Punctuality is a symptom of it. So being early, for appointments, work, things like that, is a symptom. Being proactive, so planning ahead. I'm getting to a point now where I like to write things out, and that's helping me. Um, Functioning with things, being orderly and tidy, being active. So, not moping around all the time, being helpful, appearing calm on the outside. I know some of my closest friends, you guys always tell me that I am super calm in a lot of situations that you wouldn't be calm in. Um, and that is the outer appearance, but the brain be doing a lot. But so calmness is one of the positive traits. Being passionate, throwing yourself 100% into whatever you're doing. And then you're loyal in relationships. So that is, some of the positive traits of high functioning anxiety. So it's not all terrible. So some of the negative things that people don't see on the surface level, which is why a lot of people don't even know people have functioning anxiety, is because they see all these positive traits on the outside. So some of the negative things would be people pleasing. So it's a constant fear of driving people away. And I've been working on myself, especially I turned 30 this year. So I definitely want to get out of the habit of like, always wanted to make sure people stay in my life. Like that's something that I definitely have to let go. But people pleasing is definitely one of those things. You constantly are in fear that you're going to drive people away, and I'm working on that daily. Nervous chatter. So I know I've had some people tell me that I talk a lot. I do talk a lot, but I talk a lot to fill the empty spaces when we're not talking. Like if I'm having a conversation with you and it's quiet, I'm like, oh my gosh, like what is this person thinking? Are they thinking something bad about me? Like, so I talk, just to fill those spaces. Nervous habits. I guess mine would be with my thumb. Like my thumb has been my comfort object my whole entire life. So I've been doing stuff recently to stop sucking my thumb so much. Overthinking. And this is the one that hits me the hardest because I will overthink myself into just almost craziness. It's like I think 10 steps ahead of everything. And even my 10 steps ahead that I'm thinking is probably not right, because how am I supposed to know what's going on in another person's head? And I will create a whole situation in my head just from me overthinking. So that's something I'm trying to work on. Lost time. So I mentioned earlier in the positive traits that being on time or being early to things is one of the traits, but lost time, sometimes you could be way too early for something because you're so concerned about getting there on time because of what are other people going to think of you. Like that part of it, I can definitely identify with. Constant need for reassurance, and that can be something as small as asking for directions a bunch, like multiple times, asking for the same directions, checking on what somebody else is doing to make sure I'm still on track. Like I can see that in my, like, even in my work environment, and things like that. Procrastination, which is usually followed by long periods of crunch time work. So I am queen procrastination when it comes to deadlines and things like that. I get them done, but I stress myself out in the situation with doing that. So rumination and a tendency to dwell on negative things. So the what ifs in life, like, well, I could do this, but what if this happens, or what if this happens, instead of actually enjoying the moment of things. Insomnia, difficulty falling asleep, waking up early, and the inability to fall back asleep. So I was telling you guys at the beginning of this video that I have been having a rough mental health week. So I've had a lot of those nights this week. I don't know if it's stress from work, or I've had some changes in my schedule lately, but I'll wake up, I'll go to sleep early, maybe like 9, and then wake back up at maybe 1 or 2, and I can't go back to sleep. I fall back to sleep at maybe 6, and then I have to be right back up for work in an hour. So a racing mind. Others think you are difficult to read, so they think you're stoic, unemotional, and cold. I have suffered from that my entire life. Like, people always are like, Rashawn, you don't care about anything. And it's not that I don't care about anything. It's just, I guess, as I'm learning, like, and I have learned in as I'm working through the anxiety, that is a part of it, but I can't allow myself to take on too much emotionally. So it may seem as though I'm unemotional or I don't care, but that, like, it couldn't be farther from the truth. I just have to have a control on what I actually take on. A limited life, turning down invitations, like, I do that a lot. Like, I do like to have fun, but I don't go to, every little turn up, every little function. Tendency to compare yourself to others. I do that sometimes. I'm trying to work myself out of that and focus on the things that make me great. So instead of worrying about what others are doing. Overly busy, full schedule because of a fear of saying no. I don't. I'm working on that. Like, I will commit to 10 different things knowing I physically probably can't even do all 10 of those things. So I'm working on saying no as well. And then they said it's a potential for alcohol or substance abuse as a coping method. So I try not to overindulge in those things. Especially just I've grown up seeing people suffer from addiction. So that's not something that I ever want to get into. Of course I drink, when I go out and things like that, but I try not to get into a point. I don't like to drink by myself. I feel like if I'm drinking by myself, then something is wrong. So something that I picked up on this week that I really felt like I should share with other people, because I know I picked up a exercise routine, and that seemed to be working for me. But something that threw me off and had me having a rough week, and I didn't even realize it until today, is your caffeine intake is really important when you have anxiety. So the industry that I work in right now is a really busy time for us. And what they've been doing at work is they go around and they give us Red Bulls. So throughout the course of this week, every day I probably have had like one or two or three, some days, Red Bulls. And I'm just chugging Red Bulls. And I'm thinking, because I just told you guys that I was having a hard time sleeping at night. So I can't go to sleep at night. I get to work, I'm tired, and they're giving me Red Bulls. So I'm just drinking Red Bulls, not realizing how it's affecting me. And then what really made me notice it was I was having conversations with the people that are important in my life. And I'm running into issues with everybody who's important to me. And it just, when I do that, like when I stop and I realize that I'm arguing with people, because that's not typical of me, I had to like sit down and think of what was going on. So what I did was I was actually trying to do some research, because I know I have anxiety. So I went to do some research about what are some natural remedies, because I don't want to take medication at all. I don't think medications are good for you. So I was trying to see if there was some type of yoga that I could do or something like that. And what it was talking to me about was my caffeine intake and how your caffeine intake is really important. And I was like, Jesus, like I've been drinking Red Bulls all week. I had a Red Bull where I went to go work some overtime this morning and literally drank a Red Bull and got into it, like was overthinking, and ended up fussing with people today. And so I guess my takeaway from all of this would be to take care of yourself, like not just take care of yourself physically, but take care of yourself mentally as well. Like look for things that trigger the things that you may be struggling with. It's very important to pay attention to your body. One of the things that I can say I'm proud of myself for is that I realize when I'm running into an issue of things getting out of hand. So like I said, I noticed this week was getting really rough. And so it makes me like go research to try to figure out what's going on. And I'm hoping that with cutting out the Red Bulls and continuing on my diet, not my diet, excuse me, because I eat whatever I want to, but continuing with working out. And actually I think I am going to try to start like cutting out more sugars too, because I heard that could be can affect you as well, will help me. Another thing I wanted people to take away from this video is when someone in your life is like being combative with you, or maybe they're a little more fussy than usual or things like that, ask them questions, check in with them, like, because you never know what's going on up here. Like I know a lot of people just think about, how they're being made feel in the moment, which is why I always try to follow up and apologize about everything that happens, but check on people in your life. Don't be so quick to just chalk it up to somebody being crazy, because people are not crazy. Like there are things that go on. The human body is so complex and the human brain is so complex. So I just wanted to share that with you. If you're having any of those symptoms, you may want to check into, like I said, what is called high functioning anxiety. It looks like your everyday person, looks like you, looks like me. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's something that you have to work on, and I hope that this video does help somebody out. Thank you so much for taking your time to listen to me. Nobody else told you they love you today. Just remember that I do.